What if everything you've been told about death, the silence, the emptiness, the finality, is not true? What if there exists an ancient guide, a text hidden for centuries, that claims to map the exact journey of consciousness the moment life leaves the body? Not a book of comforting illusions, but a manual for the soul, written with precision to navigate realms most of us cannot even imagine. This text is called the Tibetan Book of the Dead, or the Bardo Thödol. For over 1,000 years, monks have used it as a sacred guide to accompany the dying through the most profound transition of all. And yet, this is not a text only for the dying. It is a mirror for the living, a manual for understanding the mind, consciousness, and the very fabric of reality. Imagine a moment when life slips away, when everything familiar dissolves, and yet the mind remains. The Tibetan masters describe this moment as the threshold of ultimate opportunity, where consciousness may either achieve liberation or be drawn into another cycle of rebirth. The book does not promise comfort. It provokes awe, fear, and wonder. It dares you to confront the unknown, to face the very essence of your mind without distraction, without illusion. The text details not one, but 3 bardos, or transitional states. The first is the moment of death itself, a flash of pure consciousness known as the clear light. Dazzling, overwhelming, yet brimming with potential. Recognize it for what it is, the very essence of mind, and liberation is possible in a single instant. Fail to recognize it, and fear may pull consciousness into the next stages. The second bardo is the realm of visions, where the mind's deepest projections materialize as dazzling deities, terrifying spirits, and infinite landscapes. Peaceful or wrathful, these forms are never external. They are mirrors of the mind, reflecting hidden fears, desires, and attachments. Here, recognition and awareness are your only allies. The third bardo is the threshold of rebirth, where every thought, attachment, and unresolved emotion shapes the path forward. Karma, the invisible architecture of consciousness, determines the direction of the next life. But even here, Tibetan masters insist, awareness and clarity offer a glimmer of choice, an opportunity to guide the trajectory of existence itself. The Tibetan Book of the Dead is not simply a spiritual text. It is a bridge between life and death, ancient wisdom and modern insight. Near-death experiences recorded in hospitals across the world echo its teachings. Encounters with radiant light, feelings of peace beyond comprehension, visions of beings and worlds that mirror the bardos described centuries ago. The convergence of ancient text and modern observation suggests that consciousness may persist, navigating realms far beyond the body, far beyond ordinary perception. As you read this, as you let these images unfold in your mind, you may feel awe or fear, or both. That is exactly the response the Tibetan masters intended. This is a journey not only through death, but into the very nature of reality itself. The Bardo Thödol dares you to explore, to confront, and to awaken. Before we proceed, ask yourself, are you ready to step beyond the veil, to confront the ultimate mystery, and to explore what happens when life ends, but awareness continues? Because the journey through the Tibetan Book of the Dead begins not at death, but here now, as we open the door to the most profound truths of mind, consciousness, and existence. The Tibetan Book of the Dead teaches that glimpses of the clear light are not reserved for the dying alone. Through meditation, mindfulness, and deliberate practice, moments of pure awareness can be experienced even in life. These fleeting instances, moments when time slows, when thought falls away, when clarity pierces the ordinary, are rehearsals for the ultimate journey. Each breath, each moment of focused attention, trains the mind to recognize consciousness itself, preparing it for the threshold of death. Practitioners devote years, sometimes entire lifetimes, to cultivating this clarity. It is not an intellectual pursuit, it is experiential, a training of the mind to discern between ordinary perception and the luminous essence of reality. Each session of meditation, each act of mindful awareness, sharpens the ability to recognize the true nature of mind. These practices are not about escaping life, they are about understanding it, deepening engagement with existence, and preparing for the inevitable passage we all face. For those untrained, the moment of the clear light can overwhelm. Its brilliance may appear alien, frightening, and incomprehensible. Fear arises, pulling consciousness away from liberation, and so the journey continues into the second bardo, the bardo of visions. Here, the mind unfolds into a vivid, surreal theater. Consciousness encounters forms of extraordinary beauty and terrifying power. Peaceful deities radiate illumination and calm. Wrathful figures confront the deepest fears and unresolved attachments. These visions are not external. They are mirrors of the mind, reflections of every hidden desire, fear, and emotion. The Tibetan Book of the Dead describes these projections in meticulous detail. They are cosmic amplifications of what resides within. Those who recognize these visions as manifestations of their own consciousness can navigate them with awareness, moving toward liberation. Those who fail to see the truth within the projections are swept deeper into confusion and fear, eventually moving toward the third bardo, the bardo of rebirth. In this stage, every karmic imprint comes alive. Thoughts, desires, attachments, and unresolved emotions converge, shaping the blueprint for the next life. Consciousness becomes both creator and observer. The Tibetan teachings emphasize that the trajectory of rebirth is determined not by punishment or reward, but by the natural consequences of accumulated patterns. Positive qualities, clarity, compassion, mindfulness, illuminate the path, creating opportunities for growth. Negative states, fear, anger, attachment, cast shadows, directing consciousness towards suffering. Even here, a glimmer of choice remains. By remaining detached, observing each vision as a reflection of mind, and cultivating clarity and awareness, one can influence the course of rebirth. Awareness becomes a lever, subtly guiding the trajectory of consciousness. This is why Tibetan masters emphasize mindfulness, compassion, and clarity in life. Each moment of intentional action strengthens the capacity to navigate the bardos successfully, shaping both present and future experience. The text stresses that these lessons are not just for monks or adepts. They are universal. Meditation, compassion, and mindfulness are tools available to anyone willing to approach life with awareness. The bardos exist in every transition, every threshold, every choice. The ordinary moments of life, decision, uncertainty, joy, and grief, are microcosms of the bardos, opportunities to practice clarity, recognize projections, and cultivate liberation. Visualize it. You stand on the precipice of existence, surrounded by swirling visions. Some are radiant, beautiful, filled with potential. Others are dark, terrifying, reflecting fear and attachment. You realize these are not external forces. They are your mind made manifest. Awareness becomes the stabilizing light, guiding you through the storm. Recognition is liberation. Confusion is entrapment. The Tibetan Book of the Dead insists that by understanding and practicing these principles, life itself transforms. Every moment of awareness, every conscious choice, becomes a rehearsal for the ultimate journey. The teachings are a reminder. Death is not an end. It is a teacher. The bardos are not distant metaphors. They are present now in every choice, every transition, every shift of consciousness. The journey continues into the third bardo, the bardo of rebirth. This is the final stage of the after-death experience, where consciousness stands at the threshold of a new life. Every thought, every attachment, every unresolved emotion becomes a force, shaping the possibilities for what comes next. Imagine yourself suspended in a luminous void, surrounded by swirling visions of potential worlds, landscapes, and lives, each a reflection of your accumulated karma. Here, consciousness is both painter and canvas, crafting the blueprint for the next existence. Karma is not punishment or reward. It is the natural consequence of mind itself, the reflection of accumulated patterns projected into reality. Positive qualities, compassion, clarity, mindfulness, illuminate paths, creating experiences that foster growth, opportunity, and harmony. Negative qualities, fear, anger, attachment, cast shadows, pulling consciousness toward turbulence, suffering, and confusion. Awareness in this moment is everything. By recognizing these visions as projections of mind, by observing without attachment or fear, one can navigate this stage with clarity and purpose. Even in the third bardo, Tibetan teachings insist a glimmer of choice remains. Awareness can act as a lever, influencing the direction of consciousness. Detachment, clarity, and mindfulness become tools to shape the trajectory of rebirth. This is why life itself is a rehearsal. Every choice, every act, every thought contributes to the karmic architecture that will influence the next existence. By living with intention, One strengthens the capacity to navigate both the bardos of life and the ultimate transitions of death. Preparation in life is essential. Meditation, compassion, and mantra practice are not abstract exercises. They are training for consciousness. Tonglen, the practice of breathing in the suffering of others and exhaling love and healing, expands the heart beyond self-centeredness. Meditation sharpens awareness, untangling patterns of fear and attachment. Mantras, ancient syllables imbued with vibrational power, attune consciousness to subtler states of mind. Through these practices, each day becomes a microcosm of the ultimate journey, a rehearsal for navigating transitions with clarity and courage. Now imagine lying at the moment of death. Loved ones surround you. A lama intones the sacred words of the Bardo Thödol. The voice guides consciousness, offering orientation through realms unseen. From the brilliance of the clear light to the appearances of peaceful and wrathful deities, each word directs the mind. The lama's voice serves as both anchor and compass, stabilizing consciousness, helping it recognize projections as reflections of the mind rather than external threats. With guidance, fear diminishes, awareness sharpens, and liberation becomes possible. Without guidance, the mind risks confusion, moving away from the light and deeper into cycles of rebirth. Modern science provides fascinating parallels. Accounts of near-death experiences reveal striking similarities to the bardos, encounters with radiant light, profound peace, and seemingly sentient beings. Across cultures and decades, people describe experiences that mirror these ancient Tibetan teachings. Perhaps what the monks observed centuries ago is a map of consciousness validated by human experience. The Tibetan Book of the Dead, though ancient, resonates profoundly with contemporary research, bridging spiritual insight and scientific observation. Life itself is inseparable from these teachings. Every threshold, every transition, every choice is an opportunity to practice awareness, courage, and compassion. Mini bardos appear constantly, in moments of change, uncertainty, or profound decision. Each offers a chance to recognize projections of mind, confront fear, and cultivate clarity. By approaching life with mindfulness, each day becomes preparation for the ultimate journey. Awareness, compassion, and intentionality become not just spiritual practices, but practical tools to navigate existence itself. Visualize it. You are standing amidst swirling visions. Some radiate light and potential, others darken with fear and attachment. You recognize them as your own projections, reflections of hidden fears and unrealized potential. Awareness stabilizes consciousness, guiding it through the storm. Recognition brings liberation. Confusion brings entanglement. The Tibetan Book of the Dead teaches that this process applies to life as much as death. Every thought, every act, every choice shapes the trajectory of consciousness. Life becomes a continuous rehearsal for the final journey. Awareness and mindfulness in the present influence the next existence. Compassion, intentional action, and clarity act as levers, guiding the mind toward liberation. Death is no longer something to fear. It is the ultimate teacher, revealing patterns of mind and offering the possibility of liberation to those prepared. Through life, Tibetan teachings insist, is not separate from death. It is preparation for it. Every breath, every choice, every encounter is a rehearsal for the ultimate transition. Imagine standing at a crossroads, suspended between the known and the unknown. Every hesitation, every fear, every clarity is a mini bardo. In these moments, you are training consciousness to recognize its true nature, to discern illusion from reality, and to navigate transitions with awareness and courage. The bardo of the moment of death, the clear light, may seem distant, but its principles apply now. When you face moments of profound clarity or overwhelming fear, you glimpse it. The same luminous essence of mind, fleeting yet transformative, appears in life as it does in death. Tibetan masters call this training glimpses of the ultimate truth within ordinary existence, preparing the mind for liberation when the body falls away. The bardo of visions also exists in life. Imagine a day where emotions rise in extremes: joy, sorrow, fear, desire. The mind projects worlds of illusion and attachment, mirroring the visions of the second bardo. Some projections inspire awe, creativity, or connection. Others reveal shadows, unhealed wounds, unrecognized fears, unresolved attachments. By observing these projections with mindfulness, you learn to navigate them without fear, to recognize them as products of consciousness, and to maintain clarity amidst chaos. Even the third Bardo, rebirth, is mirrored in life. Every decision, every intention, every ethical choice contributes to karma, the invisible architecture guiding future experience. Awareness transforms these moments from mundane choices into sacred opportunities to shape the trajectory of consciousness. By living intentionally, by cultivating compassion, clarity, and mindfulness, you prepare the mind to navigate both ordinary and extraordinary thresholds with grace. Consider the Tibetan practices that guide this preparation. Meditation trains attention, sharpening awareness of mind and its patterns. Tonglen develops compassion, expanding the heart and dissolving self-centeredness. Mantras attune consciousness to subtle states, aligning the mind with awareness of impermanence and interconnectedness. Each practice strengthens the ability to recognize the clear light, to observe projections without attachment, and to shape karmic outcomes with clarity. Now, imagine a cinematic moment. The mind on the threshold of death, surrounded by the swirling visions of the second Bardo, the brilliance of the clear light above, the pull of karmic imprints below. Awareness acts as a stabilizing force, a light cutting through the storm. Recognition brings liberation. Fear and attachment bring entanglement. The Tibetan Book of the Dead emphasizes that this process is not only for the dying, it is a mirror for the living. Each moment of conscious engagement in life is preparation for this ultimate passage. Even the most ordinary moments contain echoes of the bardos. A difficult decision, a moment of doubt, an encounter with loss or change. Each is an opportunity to practice awareness, to confront fear, and to cultivate clarity. The text teaches that recognizing projections of mind, observing without attachment, and maintaining focus on awareness transforms these moments into exercises in liberation. Life becomes a continuous rehearsal for the ultimate journey, a series of thresholds preparing consciousness for the unknown. Scientific studies of near-death experiences reinforce these teachings. Accounts of radiant light, encounters with spiritual beings, and profound peace mirror the descriptions in the Tibetan text. Across cultures and decades, people report experiences that align with these ancient teachings, suggesting that consciousness may indeed persist beyond the body, navigating realms described by the Bardo Thödol. The text, though written centuries ago, resonates with contemporary understanding, offering insight into the nature of mind itself. By integrating these teachings into daily life, we begin to live with purpose, clarity, and courage. Awareness becomes both guide and shield. Compassion becomes a compass, pointing toward liberation in life and death. Each action, each thought, each breath contributes to the shaping of consciousness, preparing the mind to navigate both the bardos of life and the final transition of death. The Tibetan Book of the Dead thus becomes not merely a guide for the dying, it is a map for living fully, consciously, and intentionally. Imagine the power of living this way. Every act of kindness, every moment of reflection, every conscious choice strengthens the mind, shapes karma, and builds the capacity for liberation. Ordinary experiences, conversation, work, relationships become infused with awareness, rehearsing the transitions and thresholds that define the human experience. Life itself becomes sacred, alive with possibility, and aligned with the ultimate purpose of consciousness. Even at the moment of death, these practices bear fruit. A lama reciting the Bardo Thödol at the bedside provides orientation, guiding consciousness through the visions and the brilliance of the clear light. The mind, trained through meditation, compassion, and mantra, recognizes the projections of fear and desire. Awareness remains steady, liberation becomes possible, even in the midst of what might otherwise be overwhelming experiences. What happens when the oldest spiritual wisdom meets the discoveries of modern science? The answers may not just challenge what you believe about life and death, they might transform how you live right now. The Tibetan Book of the Dead teaches us that death is not the end, but a mirror reflecting the art of living. It asks us to meet our mortality not with fear, but with courage and a sense of wonder. When you begin to live as though every day could be your last, everything sharpens. The way you speak to others, the choices you make, even the way you see yourself, suddenly it all carries a deeper weight. Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche described this shift as a new way of seeing the psychological picture of who we are, revealed through meditation. And within that vision lies a powerful truth. Every transition in life is a bardo, a threshold, a death, and a rebirth. Each ending makes space for something new to emerge. This journey into the unknown is not final, it's a beginning, a doorway into questions that matter most. Who are you really? What is it you fear? And how much light are you willing to shine into the darkness? If you're ready to explore these mysteries further, watch our recent video. What if your parallel self is living a better life? And if these questions speak to you, drop a yes in the comments. Share the truths you want uncovered next, because this isn't just my exploration, it's ours. Here, you're not only a viewer, you're part of the philosophical essence family. And together, step by step, we keep unlocking the mysteries that matter. So keep questioning, keep seeking, and above all, keep shining your light.